Hi everyone, I'm Yolanda and in today's tutorial I will be making crusting buttercream. This buttercream is excellent to pipe flowers or roses. So let's get started. Most cake decorators, myself included, love to work with crusting buttercream because you can smooth the surface of your cake almost 100% perfect. But today I'm going to show you how I make a special crusting buttercream only for flowers. The reason being is that this is the shortening that I use, and it contains, besides vegetable oils, it contains animal fat. And so I don't use this shortening for my cakes, but I do use it for my flowers, to pipe flowers and roses. But for my crusting buttercream for my cakes, I like to use the Crisco brand. Since I'm making a large batch of this crusting buttercream for my flowers, I am going to be using 2 cups of the shortening. If you like to make a smaller batch, then you can just make the recipe using half of the ingredients. But for now, I need 2 cups of the shortening. For my crusting buttercream for my cakes, I like to use half butter and half vegetable shortening made by Crisco, but you can use whichever brand you like. Personally, I like to use the Crisco. And for this buttercream, the next ingredients that I'm going to be using is powdered sugar or confectioner sugar or 10 eggs. I'm going to be using 2 pounds of this sugar. I'm also using 2 tablespoons of meringue powder. The meringue powder helps with the stability of the buttercream, meaning when you pipe a rose or a flower, because of the meringue, it'll keep the shape and it'll be more stable. Another ingredient that I'm going to be using is milk. I like to use for each pound 2 tablespoons of milk. I'm going to use 4 tablespoons, maybe a little bit more, depending on how the consistency of the buttercream comes out at the end. And for this recipe, I'm using 1 tablespoon of clear vanilla extract. You can use the darker vanilla, but it's going to change the color of the buttercream. So here is all the ingredients that I'm going to be using: the powdered sugar, the milk, the vanilla, the meringue powder, and also the shortening. First, I like to combine the meringue powder with the powdered sugar. Just give it a little whisk and combine them both together. I'm going to cream my shortening at low speed. Then as I continue the process, I'm going to increase the speed. After creaming the shortening, now I'm going to add the vanilla very slowly, and I'm going to continue mixing. And don't forget to stop from time to time and scrape the inside of the bowl. Next, I will pour in the sugar at a low speed. And since I'm working with 2 pounds of sugar, that's a lot for my mixer. I'm going to stop in between pouring in the sugar, and I'm going to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk to the mixture, so that way my mixer does not work as hard. After adding some of the milk, now I'm going to continue adding the rest of the sugar. Now I'm done adding the sugar, and as you can see, my buttercream is kind of lumpy. It's not smooth or anything like that. That means that it needs more work and it needs more milk, and that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to continue to add the milk and continue to mix the mixture. And I just like to say, the more times you make this buttercream or any buttercream, any icing, your ears is going to be aware of how your mixer is working. If the mixture needs more liquid or if it has too much liquid. But this, you will develop this, with practice. I know when my buttercream is ready because my mixer mixes in a different way than when the icing is still lumpy and dry. Some of you may be asking for how long do I have to beat the ingredients? How long do I need to mix them? Well, to me personally, it takes maybe from 10 to 12 minutes, but not more than that. From the minute that I turn on to cream the shortening until I'm done. That includes every time that I stop to add any of the ingredients or to scrape the bowl. That being said, keep an eye on the time. Do not over mix or over beat your icings. And I finished making my crusting buttercream, and so far it looks good. It has consistency, stiff consistency, and if your buttercream is too stiff that you cannot pipe, you have to dilute it a little bit with a little bit of milk, a couple of drops or maybe 1 to 2 teaspoons of milk. If it's too runny, that you have put too much milk when you were making it, then you can add a tablespoon or 2 of the confectioner's sugar, of the powdered sugar. So you could fix your buttercream. And here is my paddle. It's nice, and the icing is now falling off it, and I'm happy with it. This is a stiff consistency. I might have to add a little bit more of the milk to pipe the flowers, but I will see. first. And remember, do not start putting a lot of liquid, because then you are going to mess it up. It needs to be done little by little, not all at once. Now I'm going to transfer my crusting buttercream to a container, which is one container of the same one of the shortening that I've used before. This is a plastic container and it's great to store icings and things like that. And so I'm going to put it in here because I made a whole lot. I'm not going to use it today, all of it. I might use some this week, and some other time I might use a little bit more and so forth. But you can keep your buttercream in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks you are good with this if you keep it in the fridge. If I'm gonna use it the next day, I usually leave it out for a couple of days, but for more than that, then it should be refrigerated. Now I tinted my buttercream and I'm piping flowers on top of some cupcakes just to show you how smooth and nice the icing came out. I am piping this buttercream, and I'm not even going to freeze the cupcakes or anything like that. I'm not freezing the flour because I'm piping it right on the cupcake. But you will see, I will show you later how crusty the surface of the flowers are. Also, just to remind you that you can pipe this type of flour on a flour nail and freeze it for later use. You can freeze the flowers, and then maybe the next day you want to apply the flowers to a cake that you decorated, or you want to freeze it for a couple of days. You can do that too. And I'm going to pipe another flour on another cupcake so you could see really how good this buttercream came out. I really like using that shortening that I use, but you may use the shortening of your choice. As long as the buttercream is crusting, that's what counts. So here I just want to show you some of the flowers that I piped with my crusting buttercream. The flowers, they had not been in the fridge or frozen. I have piped them straight on the cupcake and I touch them, but when I break the petals, I notice that the inside is still wet and moist. However, the outside is nice and crusty and doesn't break easily unless you pull it apart, like I just did with this petal. So you see when I squeeze it, it is in the inside it's moist, but in the outside it's crunchy. And I like this texture of these flowers. Well, this has been all for today. Thank you for being with me during this tutorial. I hope that you learned something today. Share, and if you like to receive other tutorials like this one, subscribe to my channel. I will see you back here again with another tutorial next week. Until then, take care and God bless.